Hi, ADHD friends. Ready to become gutsy cooks? Let's start now. Today we're going to make French onion soup. This is one of my favorites at a restaurant. That onion soup with the baguette on top and the cheese. It can be kind of a problem to eat, but it is so yummy. Now, you do not have to have these special bowls in order to make this soup. I just happened to have them as a wedding gift long ago. But this soup is delicious. Please make it for yourself as a treat. You will feel like you are dining at a 4-star restaurant. All right, let's get started. Gather your equipment, ingredients, and yourself. The equipment and ingredients for this recipe are on the slide. If you want to pause it here to collect your equipment and ingredients, you're welcome to, or you can let it run. I am going to read them aloud for our visually impaired friends. You can also forward to the next timestamp. The equipment is a cutting board, a chef's knife, a serrated bread knife, that's the one with the teeth, measuring cups, measuring spoons, a large skillet, tongs or a flat spatula, and a baking sheet with edges. The edges are important. The ingredients are 1/4 cup of butter, that's half of a large stick, 3 pounds of yellow onions, 1 box of beef broth, that's 32 ounces, 1/2 cup of red wine. You can leave the wine out, it just adds a different flavor inside. You could try a tablespoon or 2 of red wine vinegar. It will have a different flavor. If you add vinegar, you may need to add a little sugar, and you'll have to taste that at the end. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 bakery baguette, and 1 triangle of Parmesan cheese. I do not recommend using Parmesan cheese from the shaker. That will not give you the same result. Get ready. First, you're going to measure the red wine and the salt and put that to the side. Then place the skillet on the stove and add the butter. Turn the burner to medium-low heat, which is 2 to 3, and set a timer for 3 minutes. While the butter is melting, and since you have low heat and you know dairy can burn, that butter should be able to melt slowly on its own. Okay, so during those 3 minutes, you're going to start to slice the onions. I want you to remember to curl your hand into a claw, keep those little fingertips out of the way, and take your time. You're going to want to slice the onions rather thin. So not window pane thin, just on the thinner side. This is a slice, not a chop. Combine. There are many directions in the combine and heat steps. The combine and heat steps for this recipe are combined. Take your time, use the checklist. So first you're going to add the onions to the melted butter, and you're going to toss it gently with the tongs or spatula to coat the onions. Okay, you're going to take out any thick pieces or pieces with skin left on them. You can see it's not an exact science. Once you have the onions in the butter, turn the heat to medium heat, 4 to 6, probably more on the 6 range, and set a timer for 20 minutes. You cannot leave the kitchen during these 20 minutes. I know this is going to be hard. The onions will need to be stirred every 1 to 2 minutes. You can consider setting a second timer. Stir the onions, set a timer for 2 minutes. After you do that for the 20 minutes, the onions will start to brown and change color. You're going to stir them often, and if you need to lower the heat to avoid burning, that's okay. See, this is what your onions are going to look like after those 20 minutes. And you can see on the bottom there's a little brown that starts to stick. That's okay. So if you need to lower that heat to more of the 4 range than the 6 you had at the beginning, that's all right. After your onions are browned like this, you're going to add the beef broth, the wine, and the salt. And you're going to stir, counting to 30. You're going to get all of that combined together. Once everything is combined, turn the heat up to medium-high heat, 7 to 8, and you're going to bring that to a gentle boil. And a gentle boil is when you see several bubbles breaking the surface, okay? You don't need to bring it to any more of a rapid boil than that. Once it's boiling, turn the heat down to 2 to 3. You're going to turn it to medium-low heat, 2 to 3, and you're going to let it simmer for 30 minutes. Set a timer for 30 minutes. This is going to reduce the liquid by about half, and it's going to let the soup come together with all of the flavors. Finish and serve. While the soup is simmering, you can go ahead and slice your baguette and shred your Parmesan cheese. Then what you're seeing here is I'm ladling the soup evenly between the 4 soup bowls. After that, you're going to float the baguette pieces in the soup, and then you're going to cover it with about 1/3 cup of shredded cheese. But you can see here when I do it, it should be fully covered on the top. Once you do that for all 4 bowls, then we're ready to head to the oven. Place the oven rack on the second level from the top. Then turn the oven to high broil. Put your baking sheet in and set a timer for 3 minutes. You're going to want to keep an eye on them. Turn the oven light on and definitely keep an eye on them. I would even say watch them constantly while they're under the broiler. When they're browning it on the top, like you see some of these, the darker brown spots and the cheese is melted, that's when they're finished. Move slowly and gently. You don't want the bowls to fly off the baking sheet, and the bowls will be hot. So there you have it. French onion soup, restaurant quality for 1/4 the price, even if that, and high on taste. Your family will be impressed and you will love it. It is one of my favorite dishes to make. So I hope you enjoyed this. I loved making it. Now go get gutsy. If you like this recipe, please subscribe. Thank you for your time and attention. Now go get gutsy.